Hold on, it's going.
No.
Hi, college students.
Charles, you ready?
I'm ready, yes.
Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Yeah, what's up, everybody? We're back. Residence Life Speakers Series, Speaker 3 today. Thank you for joining us. This program was brought to you by the Office of Residence Life and Housing Services, and we got an awesome one for you today. Today, we are here with the infamous Charles White, everybody. Everybody give it up for Charles White. All right. Charles has a very interesting job. He works in the White House, so he's going to be bringing you a lot of stories, fun facts to you today about the White House. But the thing that's so cool about it is that he works for the Secret Service, the Uniform Division. He's been an officer of the White House for the past decade, which means that he has worked under 2 administrations, which is really cool. I'm sure it has a whole bunch of different stories that go along with that. Charles is Charles White III. He's a proud native of Washington, which means that he is a Washington Redskins fan. Do not know why, but that's who he chose to root for. But his passions are dancing, karaoke, and befriending new people. So today we're here with Charles. We're going to allow you to talk to him. For those who are on Facebook that's watching this live, please make sure that you submit your questions on there. We will shoot them to Charles. But Charles, we are here with you today. How are you doing, Charles?
I am doing well, I'm healthy and safe, so that's all
good. That's good. How have you been doing during the quarantine? Like, how's the quarantine been for you?
Well, I'm essential personnel, and I still have to go to work.
Okay.
And so I'm happy that I can still work and then get paid for it. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of folks who are not able to work right now because they are non-essential, and so they've been laid off, or they have lost their jobs, or they have had to go and file for unemployment.
Yeah.
So that is very tough, and so I'm just glad that I have been able to have a job that I still get paid for.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you get out of here, what's the first thing you're gonna eat? Like, that's the big question that everybody's asking. Everybody's talking about food. So what's the first thing you're gonna run out here and go grab?
Well, my favorite food, I would probably say, is pizza.
Okay. All right.
Pizza.
So
that's easy to order for carry out.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So we're here with a few Westchester students throughout the broadcast. They're going to be asking you some questions, but tell us about this job. Tell us about how cool this thing is. Tell us about how you got into it. Tell us about your day by day. Just lay it on us all.
Okay, yes, absolutely. I will be as concise as I can, because I know that I can talk. I'm long-winded, but the long and short of it is that I have a degree in communications, and I couldn't find a job in that field.
Okay.
I graduated college in 2007. Yes, I know that's a long time ago. I'm old. But I had spent over 6 months in applying for jobs in that field.
Okay.
In newspapers and TV, in radio or online. They said that I didn't have a face for radio. But so I was very frustrated. So I went to New Jersey. So when I came back down to DC, back home, I didn't realize how competitive the field of communications is. So I said, well, this is dumb. I'm not hearing back from folks after just 6 months or more of application, excuse me. And I said, well, I live in the seat of the federal government, and so why not become a public servant? I decided to have an internship at ICE, the Immigration and Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency in the summer of 2008. So that was a 5-month paid internship, and I was a clerk. So I just proofread all their handbooks, all the policies and stuff, and that was cool. But that was a desk job, so I was just sitting at a desk at my office for 8 hours a day. And so I wanted to be more active. And I said, well, what else can I do in the government that is more active, that I can be out and about? And I said, how about law enforcement? I said, I'm young, I have a good background. And I said, why not, why not just go for it? And so I said, if I am going to go federal or in law enforcement, I'm going to go federal, because 1, they have the best opportunities, and 2, they have the best best benefits, healthcare, retirement, all that jazz. And I said my top choice is Secret Service, because at that time that was 09. And I said, how cool it'd be to tell people and the ladies that I help protect the big man. And so I'd applied to the Secret Service, to the Capitol Police, also the Park Police, NPDC. And so I'd actually gotten an offer first by Capitol Police, but I had just gotten my polygraph test from the Secret Service.
Okay.
And so I declined Capitol Police, and I put all of my eggs in the Secret Service. And I had to get LASIK eye surgery because I was blind as a bat. My eyesight uncorrected was 20/400.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was blind. So,
wow.
So thank God I was able to have that eye surgery. So I had LASIK, and that helped me a whole lot in the medical test part. So I was able to pass everything, application wise. And then there's the overall 6-month-long academy. So in total, my application process and the academy was about 18 months long. Okay. Since I had to heal up from LASIK eye surgery. And so basically, I have really enjoyed the job. It has been cool to be here in DC. Like, my parents are getting older, so it is good to be near them. And I've been able to give them tours of the East Wing as well as the West Wing, and that was phenomenal. I took my whole family on my West Wing tour over Dr. King weekend back in 2015.
Okay.
And that was phenomenal. And I've actually met both President Obama and President Trump. So I have a photo with them both, and I've shaken their hands, and so it has been
cool.
A real honor to have been, on the job and to see history in both administrations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us. That's awesome. I mean, obviously, both presidents are in there, both different type of presidents. But I also know that there are some other high-profile people who come through the White House on tours. So who do you think has been like the most cool person you probably met while stationed at the White House?
Well, I would say that my favorite person that I met, who is a celebrity, has to be Quincy Jones.
Oh, wow.
Who I met in December of 2011. That was my first full year on the job. Okay. I was hired on April 15, 2010. So I'll hit my 10-year mark in 2 days.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's very cool.
And, so I say him because my favorite entertainer in the world is Michael Jackson. Jones helped,
that is true.
Introduce Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad albums. And so I took his hand. And so by
association, you shook Michael Jackson's hand.
Jones, I have now shaken the hand Michael Jackson. So
very cool. So what does your daily routine look like? Like, you get to work, you swipe into the White House. Is there a lot of security to get in? Once you're in, like, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
Mm-hmm. Well, our job as Uniform Division is twofold, and that is access control and the protection, the interior and exterior protection of the White House. Now, by access control, I mean that we have to ensure that everyone who walks in the complex are authorized. They are White House staffers. They work for the president. Mm-hmm. They have appointments in the White House in the East Wing or the West Wing.
Okay.
To see somebody who works in the White House. Or 3, they are tourists who are here for an East Wing tour or a West Wing tour. Now, right now, hardly anybody is working at the White House because of the virus and stuff. So most folks are teleworking, and all the East Wing tours and West Wing tours are now canceled until further. So it is very, very quiet right now on the White House complex.
Yeah.
And so that is very weird, I would say, and unique, because I've never seen anything like that. In my career, it has always been highly busy, always hustling, bustling.
Yeah.
And then the other, the interior and exterior type protection is that we have to post inside as well as outside the White House. And so there are posts inside the East Wing and the mansion and the West Wing itself.
Oh, wow.
To ensure that folks are walking around and they're authorized. And then outside there are booths that we sit in, and we open up the gates for both the pedestrians on foot as well as our vehicle gates for cars. And we also stand on foot beats on Pennsylvania Avenue and East Street to stop any threat from entering the White House fence. Yeah. So, what now?
So I'm sure you see some crazy stuff where people aren't authorized or are trying to get in. And I remember a situation that happened in the past decade where someone was trying to break on the other side of the fence. I mean, what does that look like? Is it like a giant code red? Is there an alarm that goes off? Do you just get radio? What does that look like?
Yes, there is a whole lot of radio traffic. And so in September of 2014, there was a guy who jumped the fence on Pennsylvania Avenue. And he ran past the fountain on the north side of the White House.
Oh, wow.
Not stairs, but up the steps to the north portico. And he busted through the door of the mansion, and he ran into the East Room, which is on the left-hand side of the grand foyer. Okay. But anyway, so that was an awful day. Now, just for the record, I was not there at work at that time. I was at home eating dinner with my parents.
So you're getting a lot of text messages, a lot of calls.
I did, but I didn't even know about it until next morning. And so I got lots of text messages from friends, and they asked me what happened at the White House. How did some guy get in? And I didn't know what they were talking about until I got into work the next day, and I asked my coworkers what happened, and they told me. And I was shocked. I was stunned. So that was a very bad day for us. And I mean, we are all imperfect people and whatnot, but that was a bad day. That could have been very bad. Now he didn't have anything on his person except for a knife, and also President Obama had left the White House about 15 minutes beforehand on Marine One, and so he was not there. But his mother-in-law was there, so himself, the First Lady, and the kids were gone, but the mother-in-law was there still in the White House. So if the guy had known where to go to access the residence in the mansion up the grand staircase, then he could have done some harm to her.
We're glad that he didn't.
Yeah. So, and then in 2017, in March of 2017, there was a guy that hopped the fence again on Pennsylvania Avenue, and he crept down East Executive Avenue, and he hopped the fence onto the south side of the White House, and he walked up to the south door of the mansion, and he had tried to pull it, but thankfully the door was locked. And so when he was caught, he had mace in his backpack. And he said that he wanted to talk to President Trump. And so so that was at probably around midnight.
But you were there that time, right?
No, I was not there. I was on vacation.
Man.
Yeah.
That's so all the action's happening when you're not there.
Yes.
Well, that could be a good or bad thing.
Seems like we can't let Charles go anywhere, else all the bad stuff is
right. People are like, Charles is gone. Check that south gate. So you get a lot. I mean, you get probably thousands and thousands of visitors that come through, but probably no more visitors than you do during the holiday season when the White House is decorated for the holiday season. All of the trees, all of the wreaths. So talk to me about that. What does that look like? And what's your favorite part about being in the White House at that time?
I would say that is my favorite time of the year. And just because it is so gorgeous, all the decorations outside the White House are cool. And that's how we met, actually.
Yeah, that is how we met.
And so
I'm trying to see if I can share my screen here.
Okay.
Everybody can see? Can you see it?
That's when I visited you guys.
Yeah. That's where it is. Yeah.
That's
so
what I've seen. Yeah.
Yes, Charles and I do know each other in real life. So.
And that's not Photoshop, guys. That's not Photoshop.
Yeah, it's not Photoshop. Nope.
But so it's just so
go ahead.
To be around, all the fun decorations, and then also they have folks come in and do entertainment. So there are choirs, there are operatic singers, they have bands come through high school bands, high school choirs, and adult ones, and they sing just all the carols, and they sing just all the Christmas songs, and it's really an awesome atmosphere. And I would say about 75,000 folks come in to the White House in December over a 3-week period. It is very busy, and they love taking pictures in front of the official White House Christmas tree and the Blue Room. And it's just awesome to share the overall history with the folks in that month, because everyone is so happy, so peaceful, so jovial.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming, and this might be a strong assumption, with the type of job that you have, there's probably a lot of travel involved. Would you agree with that? Is there travel abroad, travel domestically? So
yes.
Probably out of those places. I mean, what kind of places has this job afforded you to visit?
In 10 years, I have gone to see 6 different countries.
Wow.
All paid for. And so on all the trips, both domestic and foreign, we get our per diem, and it is all paid for. The airfare is paid for by the government, by the agency. The hotel rooms are paid for by the government. And it's an awesome opportunity. I would say that our travel is the best part of the job, because not many jobs will pay for you to go all over the world in support of your boss, basically.
Right. Absolutely.
So while we don't work for the president, we work for the government, but we are here to work to help continue the office of the presidency. And so we don't care who happens to occupy that office. We have taken that oath of office to always protect whoever happens to occupy that Oval Office seat for 4 or 8 years. And so, I have been to several different states on the job as well. My first campaign was in 2012. I spent the last 2 weeks of the campaign in Ohio for a week, and then I was in Colorado for a week, and I was following both Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. And it was just cool to go to different small towns in both of those states, and it was just a whole new experience. And so I'm used to a big city like DC, where it's always hustling, bustling, but it is a whole new life to look at these small towns in Iowa, on Colorado, where it is a far less amount of population, and they may not have had the same experience as I've had by being in DC. So it really is an eye opener, because not everywhere in America is life the same.
I can only imagine. Okay, so you've worked under 2 presidents. I'm sure you've had many interactions. What was your favorite interaction with Obama? What has been your favorite interaction with President Trump?
Well, I first met Obama on Thanksgiving, I want to say in 2012 maybe. And I was sitting in the mansion, and I was sitting across from the presidential elevator. Now that elevator is the one that he uses and or the family uses all the time to get upstairs into the into the residence. And so there are 11 bedrooms in the White House, and they have options if you want to sleep. and yes, the kids do have friends come over, and they stay overnight. They have sleepovers and stuff.
That's cool. That's really cool.
The Obama girls had a whole lot of sleepovers, and I'm sure Barry and Trump does too. And but yeah, so he came out the elevator, and I stood up and I said, "Happy Thanksgiving, sir." And he said, "Happy Thanksgiving Day as well." And so for the leader of the free world to stop and take 5 seconds to wish me a happy Thanksgiving, it was super special.
That's
and
cool.
Then, yeah. And then in 2017, President Trump hosted an event for the White House Historical Association.
Okay.
And he invited them upstairs into the residence to show them the Lincoln bedroom. And so I went up there to make sure that they didn't do anything funny and whatnot. So as he walked out of the Lincoln bedroom, he stopped. He saw me, my coworker, and he stopped, shake our hands, and said, "Thank you for your service, guys." And again,
That's
for him
awesome.
to take 5 seconds to say that to us, that was very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool stories. Okay, So we're going to take some time to ask some questions from our students. We also have some questions that are on Facebook Live. So we encourage you to put your questions here in the chat. That way we can ask these questions to Charles. We have him for a little bit of time here, so we want to make sure that we are submitting those questions. All right. And we also had some questions sent to us prior to us coming on. So we're going to combine both of those questions. So our first question that was submitted to me via email by a young woman named Sarah. She wants to know, how long did it take for you to get through the approval process to be hired as a public servant to get into the White House?
Sure. In total, that process took 13 months because I had to get LASIK eye surgery, and that took about 3 months to heal after having it. And I had to withdraw from the application process. And then I was able to go and then to reapply at the same spot I left off at. And then I was able to pass the medical part and the uncorrected eye exam test. So I would say about 13 months for the application process, because first there is the online application, then there is the written test. That's the basic high school English, math, reading comprehension. Then there is the interviews where they ask you all kinds of deep questions. Have you ever stolen anything? Have you ever gone to jail? XYZ. And and then there is the polygraph test. And then
does it make you nervous? Like, I've never been to jail, but I feel like I would be so nervous answering that question. I'd be thinking like, well, did I go to jail? Like, have you ever done drugs? Have I? You know, like, these are questions you would ask that, like, how are those tests accurate?
I mean, it's just all about, you being honest at that point.
Okay.
In the interview, because in the interview they asked me had I ever done bestiality. So I was more surprised about them asking me that question than asking me if I had gone to jail, because who would ever want to do such a thing as bestiality? But that's a real question. And I guess some people are into that, and that's not something that is tolerated by the government. So
the government asks a lot of weird questions. Like, I got married 2 years ago, and I remember when we went to the courthouse, one of the questions was, have you ever been married to a sibling? Have you ever been married to a cousin? I'm like, no. Why would you ask me this? So
well, that is
this is stuff that the government wants to know. So
Big Brother is always watching, I guess.
Right. So we got a question from Harper. Harper, are you here? Let's see if Harper's here. Ah, there he is. What's up, Harper?
I figured out how to do that. Yeah, so do you guys get to eat the same food as the presidents, like from the White House chefs? Like, is the food really good?
Excellent question. We are not allowed to eat food normally, but if you are posted at the post that is across from the kitchen, and if you're nice to the White House chefs, then oftentimes I know I have asked them for some samples of the food. I've worked several state dinners at the White House under Donald Trump, and so I've been able to have some of the food either before or after the event. So yes, I have had much of the food at the White House, and let me tell you, Harper, it is phenomenal. It is so good. I've been invited to four of our holiday parties in December. So that's his first family's way of saying thank you for our service all year round. And so we are invited to our own party, and then we can take pictures of the president and first lady. So at those parties, we have a huge buffet, and they have shrimp, they have string beans, mac and cheese, salad, cookies, lots of brownies, and spiked eggnog. So if you're over 21, that is alcohol and eggnog combined. And guys, let me tell you, 1 cup of that will have you on your backside. It's that
yes, after they're 21, student code of conduct. Yes,
that's right. After 21.
Cool. That's cool. That's cool. Thank you, Harper.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Our next question is from Lauren. Lauren, are you here? Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your question?
So my question is, what is the percentage of women who work for the Secret Service?
That is a very good question. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, your percentage-wise, but I know that out of my class, we had 4 women in my class that had graduated. And I would say that based on my time on the job, that there are just, I want to guess, maybe 30% of the workforce or on the officer side are female. And so it is an equal opportunity job, and we just look at the overall person and not if they're male or female. And so I'd say that there are at least 30% of the workforce that are female.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are some like silly things that have happened at the White House that are like should not have happened, but the news happened to catch it? You're like, oh my gosh, how did they find this out? Like, are there any blips that ever happened?
I can't say any bloopers that I've heard of per se at the White House. I know that this was Sunny. This is the female dog owned. That Sunny had knocked over one of the guests at a holiday party.
Okay.
One year, and so the news caught that, and so Sunny had knocked over this child who was maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, and the child started crying and all that jazz, and so it was a real rowdy type of afternoon for the dog and the child.
Okay.
So that's one thing. But I can't think of any real blooper under Trump right now. No. I know my coworkers always play jokes on each other.
Okay.
We're very, very silly, and so we can be real raunchy. So
okay, I'm
not the weak-minded.
Okay.
Not for the weak of mind, because we have to pass our time somehow, and so it is a good job, but oftentimes it's dull and mundane, which is good for us, because anything that is exciting means that that's a bad day, that say someone has hopped the fence and there's a threat now against us. And so we like it to be dull and mundane, but that does wear on you over time. And so we have to always play like games with each other, always joke with ourselves just to pass the time.
Got it. That makes sense. RD Leah has a question. Leah, go ahead and jump in here.
Yes. So I'm curious if you see yourself staying with the Secret Service for the rest of your career. Like, what do you even do after the Secret Service? That seems like a career peak. Like, where do you even kind of go after that? Like, do you plan to kind of finish out your career there, or what would you kind of want to do after, if that is something to think about?
Well, it is so funny that you asked that, because I think that it is so important, Leah, to have multiple streams of income, because it is highly important to finish school and to get a degree and to find a job. But I think it is also good to not stay in the active income side of things, because active income is a job. So what I do for more than, I would say I work 50, 60 hours, like with the overtime. So that's active income. I have to be at work to earn a paycheck, but passive income is work that I do only one time, and I still get paid for that each month. And so, for example, 6 years ago, I bought an apartment building here in DC because I wanted to have multiple streams of income coming in. So I live in the building. There are 4 units in the apartment building. And so I rent it out to 3 other people. And so their rent does cover the mortgage. And then the third rent has passive income for me. So I am banking that. And so that is one way that I'm making passive income. I want to do that. 1, because I want to make passive income. But 2, I want to serve other people. And everyone needs a home. And so why not get paid for it? So that's a win-win situation. Also, I work with a mentor right now to build this asset-generated income on the side. And so my goal now is to build this asset-generated income over the next 5 years, so that I have the option of retiring from the Secret Service early at age 40. And then I could buy back the time that I missed with my family, having to go on trips, having to work overtime. I've missed lots of birthdays of my nephew, and that really hurt me. other, family events. And so I can then pursue my passions that I can't right now because one, I don't have all the money in the world, and two, I don't have all the time in the world. So I think that it is so important to have multiple streams of income.
Thank you so much for that. I have another totally unrelated question.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like in danger in working in the Secret Service at the White House? I know it seems like there haven't been too many crazy incidents on your watch, but I'm curious because I see it as a very high risk job.
It would make me anxious today.
Yeah.
The only time that I really felt in danger on the job was really my first foreign trip, and that was to Israel in 2013 under Obama, because that was when the Israelis and Palestinians were fighting still, and they were shooting rockets back and forth. And they told us that in order to get our hazard pay by working in Israel for a week, we had to wear our vests. And so overseas we have to wear suits. Since we don't have our constitutional authority in a foreign country, we are guests in their country. And so our outfits or our uniform are suits. And so under the suit, we had to wear our vest. And so that's the only time ever that I've worn my vest at work on an overseas trip there in Israel, because of the high risk that was there at that time. And so we got, our hazard pay, but that was very scary, because who knew what would happen, how effective those rockets would be from Gaza or from Israel. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Harper Dodd's got another question. Harper, you still here?
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead.
So obviously there's a lot of stuff in the White House, just like painting, murals, things like that, like gifts from other countries. What's the cool thing in the White House that you've seen or heard of?
As a gift wise, you mean?
Yeah, just anything. I know there's the George Washington painting that was almost destroyed in the War of 1812, but they cut it out of the wall and then took anything in there, a painting, a vase, I don't know, a sword from Japan or something
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay, sure. Yeah. Well, the most prized possession in the White House, like you said, is the famous portrait of George Washington. Mm-hmm. And so that is on display in the East Room. That is the one that was ordered to be saved by Dolly Madison on August 24th, 1814, hours before the British came and burned the White House down in the War of 1812. And that is so special because that is the only object that's on display in the White House now that was on display in the original White House in 1814. Now, it is a myth that Dolly Madison was heroic and carried that portrait out of the White House by herself. If you come on the White House tour, you'll see how big it is. And it was her order to save it. Yes, so she should have some credit, but it was her 3 slaves that actually carried the portrait out of the White House for her. And so I think that it is very important to share the full history of our American history. And so the White House was built by slaves in large part, and it was rebuilt in large part by slaves in 1817. So I don't think that is taught as often in schools anymore. And so I wasn't taught that in elementary school or in high school or in college. And I found that now as adults, I've learned more about the fullness of our history than I ever did in school. So I think that is so important to do our own research as adults and always question the facts and statistics that people tell us, unless we know that they have done their own history and and their own research. But my favorite fact about the White House tour overall is the White House prayer. I don't know if you all have heard the White House prayer, but it comes from the last paragraph of a letter that John Adams wrote to his wife, Abigail, on the second night he moved into the White House. And Adams wrote about how lonely he felt by being in this massive house alone. Now, the White House prayer is inscribed on the mantelpiece in the state dining room under the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. And so Abigail hadn't come down yet into DC. So she was still home in Philadelphia at the old president's home. And so he never sent that note out to Abigail. Adams just put it in a book upstairs in the library. Over 130 years passed until Franklin D. Roosevelt found it. He read it and was so moved by that final passage he had inscribed on the mantelpiece.
Wow.
The White House prayer reads as follows: I pray heaven to bestow the best of blessings on this house and all that shall hereafter inhabit it. May none but honest and wise men ever rule under this roof. Powerful prayer.
Wow. All right. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Harper.
Yeah,
and Charles, we have our last question. Our last question is from Katie Cooney. She's going to ask her question. Katie, you there?
Yeah. Hi. So I was just curious what other countries you traveled to while working. I know you mentioned Israel before, but just curious any other ones that stood out to you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I have gone to a lot of Asian countries on the job. I'm not sure why they send me to Asia a whole lot, but I've been to 6 countries. I've been to Israel. I've been to Istanbul, Turkey. I've been to Hangzhou, China. I've been to Seoul, South Korea. I have been to Papua New Guinea. It's a small island right above Australia. And as of last year, I went to Normandy in France in honor of the 75th anniversary of D-Day.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've enjoyed all the foreign trips, and it is just a huge honor to be there, and I can represent my country.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I'm muted. See, still learning how to use this thing. So outside of your job at the White House, you do like to dance.
Yes.
You have any dance moves you want to show us today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, yeah, go ahead. You would have to turn off your virtual background to your real background so we can see it. Otherwise you'll dance, but it'll disappear in the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay, it'll disappear. Okay. 1 second. I wasn't prepared to dance, but I love dancing, and so my favorite overall dancer is Michael Jackson, and I can do all of his music video dances. And
wow.
Yeah, so my favorite is, of course, the Motown 25th anniversary show of Billie Jean.
Okay.
And, let me take off this Golden Gate Bridge virtual background. None. Okay, let me. Okay, let me switch view. All right, do you guys see me?
Yeah, I think we got you down. You have to back up a little bit, but we see you.
Okay. All right. Let me put my shoes on. Hold on a second.
It's getting real here. While we're waiting for Charles, please make sure to note that this program was brought to you by the Office of Residence Life and Housing Services. We have about 50 speakers coming here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Our speaker tomorrow is the Westchester alumni, Sasha Arizon. She has created a wellness and positive image, and Leah, jump in with me just in case I'm missing something. Organization. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram, and she's going to be talking about how to take care of self-care during the COVID-19. The next day we have Trish Frazier, who was one of the contestants, and Charles, you would like this, from the Food Network. She won Food Network Star, and she's going to be showing you all how to cook and make stuff at home. But last but not least, on Thursday, we got Craig Robinson from NBC's The Office, Hot Tub Time Machine. We also have Jackie Cruz from Orange is the New Black and her new show that she's been on for 3 seasons, Good Girls on NBC. So
and we got 2 on Friday.
Oh, and we have 2 on Friday. So Tim Paulson. I'm gonna let Leah tell you about the ones on Friday. Go ahead, Leah.
Yep, Tim Paulson is he's actually my brother. Surprise, we have the same last name, but he's a CrossFit Games athlete. And then we have DJ Tarak in the evening, who's going to be doing a free little DJ show for everybody. So it's going to be a great time.
Very nice.
All right. I'm excited for Tim because I want to get as ripped to him as Tim. But without further ado, we're gonna give it up for Charles. Charles, go ahead and do your thing, man.
I want to thank my videographer, is my nephew Shane, who is holding my iPad up for me. So
Okay, hey, what's up, man? How are you?
So here we go. All right, I'm gonna do Billie Jean.
Okay.
Billie Jean is not my lover. Woo! Ow! Ah!
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. Charles, how can our students follow you? Like if they have more questions or if they're like, man, this guy's interesting. He does it all. He's protecting the country. He's protecting our boredom with dance moves. How can they follow you? What's your social media handles? How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can send you my email. My handle on Facebook is Charles White III. And it is so ironic that I'm the third speaker because I'm the third. And so, yeah. And my photo right now is, what is my photo? Hold on. Let me find out what the photo is. 1 second. My photo as my profile pic is of me and my awesome crisscross outfit because I went to a 90s party and I dressed up as crisscross, so I wore everything backwards, my shirt, my pants, everything. So I have a Washington Wizards awesome jersey of the old school guy named Chris Webber. But anyway, yeah. So so it's Charles White III on Facebook. So yeah, you follow me and I'll answer any more of your questions, But I just want to say, awesome luck to you guys on school. I know it's tough right now, but I encourage you all to go, finish strong on your studies.
Yeah.
And it is always good to have that degree.
Yeah. Well, we miss you all on campus as well. Thank you, Charles White III, United States Secret Service. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you all tomorrow. Again, we're doing this for the next 3 weeks. We hope that you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time.
Thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Take care.